The year is 1985. Gauntlet is the #1 game in the arcades. Tell me I'm lying in the comments. Super Mario Brothers is killing it at home on the NES for my buddies that like to kick it that way. Karate Kid is about a year old, but I still think I can kick some Cobra Kai. And in the theaters is this bad boy right here, Back to the Future, which made the DeLorean the #1 car of 1985. Tell me I'm lying in the comments. Well, okay, hold on. Maybe not, but you know what I mean. The DeLorean, ever since that movie, ever since 1985, I have wanted one. It's on my bucket list, but you know what? They weren't great cars, and it takes a lot of work to get them fixed up. Ask our buddy Brian, our author buddy. I'll put his link in the description as well. He got his fixed up, but for those of us that don't have the resources to do that, are we just supposed to go the rest of our life without a DeLorean? No, because guess what? I found a guy who took a Volkswagen Scirocco and turned it into a DeLorean time machine. Let's head back into the studio and we're going to go through that and I'll show you how cool this is. You heard that right. Somebody built their own time machine. Okay, we're here in the studio, so let's dive into it here and let me show you this incredible machine. Before I do that, though, real quick, let's talk about today's sponsor, and that is Busted Knuckle Magazine. If you're into hot rods and trucks and shade tree mechanics and people that make some amazing cars, this is the magazine for you. These guys do an incredible job of going around telling the story of some of these super creative and amazing people and their amazing projects. I'm going to put their link in the description. Make sure to get Busted Knuckle Magazine. You're going to want to get that. Okay, so let's dive in here. I found this on the internet. I want to say thank you to Michael Tucker, who actually posted this. And then I was like, what? And he gave me some more information. So we're going to jump right in here and look at their website. Back to the Computer is the website here. We're going to skip the intro. We're going to jump in right here to Time Machine. Okay, so our Time Machine, it says, I'm going to do some reading to you, and I'll run some pictures and stuff at here. So hopefully they're okay. I'm just going to read a lot of the information here off their website, but be sure to check their website. There's tons more information. The car we decided upon for our Time Machine was the VW, or the Volkswagen Scirocco. It was the closest looking car to DeLorean, and we would be the next best thing for the budget we had. We looked in lots of papers and on eBay, and this is the final car we ended up with. Ours is a 1988 model in gray and blue. It looks black here in the photo, but it's frosty morning, but it's actually gray. Let's talk about, so in December 21st of 2008, they purchased the car. They purchased their website, backtothecomputer.com, on December 24th, Christmas Eve of 2008. And then you can go through and see all of the work they did. The new tires, they made the Mr. Fusion. We're going to look at that in a second. Started making time circuits, right? They did the steering and tracking adjustment, 88 mile per hour speedo, made and tested. And look at that. They went through all of that. So that's super cool. Yeah, they made their YouTube page. They got the first YouTube out. The YouTube page gets its second video. That was in 2009. And then all the way by the end, they made the local papers on August the 24th of 2009, which is super cool. And they started at December 21st of 2008. So under a year, not far. We didn't actually win the auction. Team member Lee forgot to bid on the auction one evening, and we thought all was lost. I emailed the seller the following day, and they said if the auction fell through, to give them a call. 1 week later, the auction fell through, and they actually picked up this car. The car, although running, had a few problems, large water leaks. So the first stop was to get the local services so we can make a temporary fix to the leak and top up all the fuels on their journey home. With the car now on home soil, I set about giving it a good clean to see what state it was really in. The inside had been dismantled a bit, and the front end of the car had some wars and various parts were damaged. It's amazing the color the car really shows in these pictures. Okay, so they added the new water tank, indicated a list of parts, and then they're making their Mr. Fusion. Okay, so let's take a look at that. You can see the car is taking shape. In the meantime, I decided to start work on some of the gadgets, gimmicks we aim to have in the car, but pure luck, I managed to find a seller on eBay Germany who was selling the exact model of coffee maker used on the original DeLoreans in the Back to the Future movies. How hilarious is that? Apparently they are 1970s Krupp's coffee makers. Well, I couldn't resist, and I sent the guy an offer. He accepted, and soon we had our Mr. Fusion. So that was made out of a coffee maker. They've got some more pictures there. The next project was the time circuits. The only place I felt the time circuits would fit was the glove box area. So by dismantling the glove box and removing the insert, I found there was enough space. The next stage was to mock up a cardboard version to get the dimensions right. And they went through that, and they actually built their time circuits, which looks absolutely amazing. They do have concerns the LEDs they chose are just a bit too big and make for a tight fit, but overall I think it's absolutely super cool what they were able to do there and put that all together. Like I said, they did a mock stage up with cardboard version, and then before they made the sheets of alloy, it was ordered to cut to shape to actually make it. I think they did an excellent job of making that fit there. Everyone knows a time machine only travels through time when it reaches 88 miles per hour. The next plan was to create the digital display to mount on the top of their dash. For this, though, they decided they would hack a digital tachometer and fit a new display into the small gray ABS box, just like in the film. This means that the display will actually change depending upon the speed of the vehicle. Great touch and a great job. Great pictures there. The Flux Bands. Okay, so now they had to make their Flux Bands, right? So next step was to alter the bumpers so they could glow when the car hits 88 miles per hour. So it actually glows when it hits 88 miles per hour. That's cool. Research shows they are called Flux Bands. So a trip to my local gardening center provided me with some light alloy piping. I somehow need to fit this to the existing front bumper and make it fit. For this, I went to my local plumbing shop and bought some plastic pipe clips. Next, I needed to find some mesh that would join the two pipes together. I know needed some light tubes. So scanning eBay, they came across and they ordered some. The wire is called L wire, luminescent wire. You can get it in a variety of colors, and it was an amazing glow to it. This would be fitted between the alloy tubing and would provide the ideal glow. My gosh, that was absolutely great. All right, so now we're up to the Flux Exhaust, right? So the next step was to make the Flux Exhaust, they said. These are the outlets attached to the rear of the car. They really make it look like the time machine. With my hand in plaster, I called in help from one of the building supervisors from work, and he set about measuring up the rear of the car to make the exhaust. First, from a large sheet of ply, he set about cutting the side of the exhaust to get the best fit over the spoiler of the Scirocco. With the chosen design, he cut a complete set all ready for construction. They will be sprayed black and fitted to the car. Gosh, that looks really, really cool. Spray time. It was time to spray the car. We had a couple of options. It says, find a cheap sprayer to spray the whole car. The cheapest we found was about 500 pounds. Or option 2, to spray the car themselves. Costs around 25 pounds. We went for option 2. It says it may not be the best option, but this is the banger, really. So $25 seems to be the best for what they're going for. So they bought a job lot of aluminum spray paint off of eBay for about 16 pounds, plus a couple of cans of black from the local pound shop. They set about masking up the car in over 3 days, spraying each side, and then the bonnet, the spray head to got for the car was nasty stuff and didn't settle well compared to the black and gray areas of the car. However, the car is beginning to take shape, they said here, so that's pretty cool. The flux capacitor. Okay, so they had to make a flux capacitor, of course. So I needed to make a flux capacitor wouldn't be the car without it, right? So we cannot make the time travel possible. So I set about getting the required, they're funny, I love this, getting the required parts to make our version of the world famous time travel part. The core of the flux capacitor would be made from a genuine Intel 3 processor mounted into our capacitor housing. The flux bands would be attached and this in turn would be connected via the Flux Exhaust systems and injected into the engine. Once the car gets 88 miles per hour, the magic would happen. So they got all that there. To make their journey a little more interesting, I suppose, the fact their technology has out, we have installed front-mounted video camera, rear-mounted video camera, dash-mounted TV to the view cameras, GPS tracking device to record our movements, GPS-linked laptop, CB radio, just in case we want to speak to other teams that have one installed, and I'm sure that have traveled through time with them. All right, so there it is right there, guys. I got to tell you, that is just absolutely amazing. I'm going to put the link to the description here. Back to the computer.com, I believe was the website we went to. On Facebook, it's called Timmy Time Machine. Wow, I just absolutely love that. I think that's amazing. They spent so much time and put it into there. Like they said in the video, it's a banger. That's why they built it that way, but it is super cool. And as you know, that's the kind of stuff I love. I absolutely love that. I also love that they documented it, put it all together, you know, put all their efforts and showed everything they did along the way and described how they did it, just in case somebody else wants to take this time travel, because I'm... That was all done in a year, so I'm pretty impressed with what they did in a year. Have you seen some people make some crazy DeLoreans, time machines? Our buddy Brian, the author, he has an incredible one. I'll put a link to him as well. He's got a beautiful actual DeLorean. He had it completely redone. That thing is incredible. So I'll show some pictures of that. Brian Paone was absolutely really cool. Be sure to leave me some links to some other cool custom cars that you've seen or some cars that people have built. I want to take a look at them. If you love 1985, I'm with you. You can leave me some comments about that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. We need as many subscribers as we can get. Thank you for taking the time to do that and sharing us with our friends. Let's talk about cars tomorrow.